So hello you guys and welcome back to my channel. Now before I start with this question and answer, two things. One, yep, my hair is black, I dyed it. Just because I know people are going to comment like, is it different? It is. I went way darker than I was and I quite like it. And second of all, just because again you guys will notice, probably pointed out, I have like sellotape on my finger. That's because I slit my nail down the middle and it hurt like a bitch. And then it kept getting stuck in everything. I'm allergic to plasters, so I couldn't just put a plaster around it. So I improvised, I put sellotape on it, and it works. Now, we're going to try and keep this video under 30 minutes because you know how I babble on. You know how I get distracted and go off on fucking tangents. There's over like 70 or 80 questions or something, so I want to get through them. And if like a load new questions come in after I film this, then I'll just do a separate video answering them because I don't want to leave any of you guys out. Okay, first question. Violent Pluto. Which characters from The Walking Dead are similar to Fear the Walking Dead? I think that Nick is quite similar to Rick because Nick woke up I know he woke up at the beginning of the apocalypse, but he woke up out of like a drug-induced coma and then straight away saw your one eating your man in the fucking church. So that whole scene kind of reminds me of when Rick woke up in the hospital. But I think that Nick kind of reminds me of Merle a little bit as well because both characters would have gone into the apocalypse either drug addicts or recovering drug addicts or trying to come off drugs completely. So he kind of reminds me of him in that aspect. Are we ever going to see Michonne as a pirate? I don't think so, simply because she's with the group at the moment, and the only way I could see her being a pirate is if she left the group. And given her new circumstance with Rick, I don't see that happening. And how do you think Rick's group escaped Negan's line? Well, I have read that far in the comics, so I'm not going to say anything got to do with that in case I spoil it for people, so we'll let that question float. Crystal K said, who are you most excited to meet at this year's Walker Stalker? Well, last year I was most excited to meet Norman. And he's probably still the person that I'm most excited to meet because I really do love him and he is a very important person to me. So, probably Norman and maybe Tom Payne because, hello, Tom Payne. I'd also love to meet Lauren Cohen because she's my favourite female character from the show. So I'd love to meet her. Or Denai. Oh my god, if Denai was to go. Michonne. I would actually cry on the fucking ground if I got to meet Michonne in real life. Woo! But I'm probably most excited to meet you guys. A lot of you guys have been commenting on videos or you've been messaging me or talking to me on Instagram or whatever. And you've been saying that a lot of you guys are actually going to Walker Stalker. So I'd love to put a face to the comment, if you know what I mean. And I'd love to meet you guys in real life, and I have a lot of online friends as well that I'd love to speak to face to face instead of through a screen. Rise Thunder said, can you do a series about the story of a character before they got killed? I will be doing that, not yet though, because I'm going through all the characters that are kind of the main characters or the ones that we see most often, but when I get through them I'll definitely go back and do the ones that have died. Stephen Brady said, you wake to a post-apocalyptic world about a year after it all went to shite. Hey, shite, there's an Irish word. What is your survival plan? Group or lone wolf, hunker down or run from place to place? I'm in two minds about this. I know myself that I would work best by myself. Like, I would genuinely get anxious if I was in a group of survivors and if we were going into a building, say, and if I said to someone, watch my back, I would be anxious knowing that somebody else is looking after me. I would only trust that responsibility with myself, but I know there are safety in numbers, so probably a group. As for hunkering down or going place to place, I will go place to place because you can meet more people along the way, meet more survivors, maybe run into a Dixon somewhere along the way. And plus when you're constantly on the move, it's kind of harder to be trapped and bombarded and stuff, so. And given the rate of decay throughout the series, how long do you think it would be before walkers are rare and easily managed? Oh, that is a good question. I was thinking that too. They kind of get mushy as time goes on and they get like decayed features about them. So I reckon it won't be too long before the older walkers just give up the will and just lie down on the fucking ground. Holly said, if you had to create your own character in The Walking Dead, who would they be like? Looks and trait-wise. Oh, sorry, what would they be like? Looks and trait-wise. Well, Daryl is my favourite character from anything. And I know I keep fucking talking about him, but I love his character. I love the kind of tough guy facade, you know, like, no, I got this, I'm fine. The kind of brooding kind of type, but on the inside, you just know that they're so loving and they're so caring and they take everything to heart and that they really do care underneath it all. That's why I love Daryl. because his personality and his soul is so different to what he shows everyone else. And I love characters like that. I love characters that you gotta dig a little bit to get to know. But I'd love to see like a little girl, kind of like Clementine. A little girl, pure innocent in a little sundress, you know, and then she pulls out a fucking machete or like a kitchen knife out of her shoe and kills walkers. I'd love to see that. Biohazard Tekken said if you could survive an entire apocalypse with only 5 people, family excluded, who would they be and why? Fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna go trait-wise. They'd have to be someone strong and kind of intimidating. For that role, I'd probably pick Conor McGregor would be a good choice. He's an Irish MMA fighter. He is savage, he is strong, he has skills. He'd intimidate the fuck out of any group that would try to infiltrate ours. I can't say that word. So I'd love to have him on my team. 2, you'd have to have somebody like a doctor or somebody that has kind of medical training in some way, just so they can patch you back together if something goes wrong. I don't really have an example of anyone like that. Somebody that's quick and quiet and can scavenge and can get in and out of places undetected and can scope out places. So probably someone like Glenn. There'd have to be a girl on the team as well, somebody that I could relate to. Taylor Swift would be a cool choice. I mean, you'd never get bored with her. Just make her sing to you when you get bored. Plus, I saw her live last year, so when she plays the song Style live, she has all her backing dancers come up onto the runway on fucking hoverboards. They just come out of nowhere on hoverboards and they glide down the runway. Imagine that in a zombie apocalypse. Imagine there was like a herd of walkers coming towards you and Taylor standing next to you and you're just like, get the backing dancers. And they all come out on fucking hoverboards. That would be so cool. I think that was like 4 people, but that's like family excluded. My family would be the best bet because there's kind of a mixture of everything in my family, so if I could choose to survive the apocalypse with anybody, it would be my family, but you've taken them out of the equation, so we've gone with fucking Taylor Swift, Conor McGregor and a doctor. Jelly Bear Dactos said if you could have any job on The Walking Dead, what would it be? Actor, writer, makeup, special effects, director or zombie extra? This is a no-brainer for me. If you guys have watched my older videos, you'd know that I fucking worship Greg Nicotero. He is a genius at everything that he does. I mean, aside from the special effects and the makeup, because everyone knows that he is the brains behind the makeup and the special effects on The Walking Dead. Besides that, his directing skills are so amazing. The episodes that he has directed are my favourites. He is so good at telling a story and portraying it onto screen that I would just want to follow him around all day long with a little clipboard like, teach me your ways, Greg, please. But I would also love to be a makeup artist because imagine getting up and close with the actors. Like you're in your makeup trailer and you're playing with your brushes, your makeup brushes, and you're like, God, whose face do I gotta paint on now? And then Norman fucking Reedus walks into the trailer and sits down in front of you. You can get right up close with your makeup brush like, I'm just gonna give you some eyeliner, okay? Makeup artist for the win. Hooving Gaming said, have you been looking at filming updates of season 7? And has your prediction about who the Lucille victim, has it changed? I haven't been looking at filming updates, but they have trickled onto my timeline on Twitter and Tumblr and stuff, and I've kind of seen them without meaning to. Nothing like proper spoiler, but I've seen some things that I just kind of rather wouldn't have seen because I do want it all to be a surprise. But I haven't actively gone looking for them. As for my prediction on the Lucille victim, I can't even remember who. I mean, I know I made a whole video about it, but I genuinely can't remember who I said I thought it was. But at the moment, I think it could be Abraham. That scene where he's in the car with Sasha and you see the light coming through from behind him and he's like looking at her all happy. And then there's the scene where he's in front of Negan and he squares up, he, you know, puffs up his shoulders, and the whole taking it like a champ thing, it would lead to Abraham. Poor Abe. So I think he's a very strong contender to be Lucille. Killer Ego left a list of questions. I love it. Okay, we're gonna quick fire through these. Well, we're gonna quick fire as quick as I can because you guys know I don't do quick fire. I get distracted. What is it like in Ireland and would you recommend people to live there? Ireland is a beautiful country. The people here are generally really accepting, but at the same time things are kind of plain over here. So the kind of style of the fashion that you get in New York, you would not get that here. Like, you wouldn't. When I go out with like a short sleeve top on and when I have all my tattoos like out there for the world to see, I do get people looking at me like, so it is lovely here, but we're not really as advanced, I think, as other cities are. Do you have a middle name? I do. My middle name is Jane. When my mum was pregnant with me and she was trying to come up with a middle name for me, my mom, my aunt and my nana were all sitting at a table and they couldn't come up with a middle name. And then my aunt suggested Jane, you know, Katie Jane, it goes together, so that's where my middle name came from. What is your favourite colour? My favourite colour has been purple since I was about 9, but lately I am really loving pink. I was never a pink kind of girl, like I never liked pink, but I think you guys have noticed, like my nail varnish, my makeup, my clothes generally, fucking makeup bag, most things I have is pink at the moment, and I really, really, really like that colour because it's bright and it's happy and it's boom! Your favourite food and drink? Well, if we're talking about like treats, my favourite kind of treat food would be either popcorn and minstrels, because that is just a match made in heaven, or like chocolate buns, because I'm a celiac, I can't eat wheat, so I can't eat cake, I can't eat buns, I can't eat wafers or bread, but there's gluten-free versions of everything, but sometimes they're not that nice, to be honest. But Aldi do such a good gluten-free bun that I'm debating just fucking walking to Aldi right now to get a bun. And when it comes to drink, like I don't drink a lot. I know you're supposed to drink a certain amount of water every day and stuff, but I hardly ever drink and I have to make myself drink. Like usually I only drink when I'm eating something, but the kinds of drinks that I love is I love diluted drinks. At the moment I'm loving apple and blackcurrant. It's a diluted drink. I don't know what brand it is, but it's good. What is your favourite pizza toppings? I don't like toppings on my pizza. I like plain cheese and like the pizza sauce stuff. How intelligent was that answer? But I don't really like toppings. I had pineapple on a pizza once and I nearly got sick. I was like, stuff should be kept off the pizza. What's your favourite flavour ice cream? My favourite flavour ice cream is raspberry. I'm allergic to strawberries, so I can't have anything strawberry, and raspberry to me is like the next best thing. What age did you stop believing in Santa? I think I was about 9 or 10 and I had to be told. I didn't come to that conclusion by myself like most kids do. No, I had to be sat down and told. I was such a naive child. In the middle of being told about Santa, I just like went dead silent. I was crying. I was very emotional over this fact. And when my mum said like, are you okay? My answer was, have you been lying to me about the Tooth Fairy too? And then I got really emotional over the fact the Tooth Fairy was on the same list as Santa. Do you think you'll ever get over 1 million subscribers? I don't know, I don't think so. I don't. That's an insane amount of numbers, and 3,000 to me is fucking mental. So many people. But the thing about my channel is I'm not really concerned with numbers. Am I in frame? I'm not really concerned with numbers, and I know a lot of people say that and don't mean it, but genuinely, like, as long as there's people commenting and, you know, getting in contact with me and stuff, that's all I want. Like, the comment section on my channel is just a pleasure to read. I scroll down and I'll be going through comments, laughing at what you guys are saying, or you'll be suggesting something that I might like, or you'll be linking me to something that I haven't seen before. You guys are awesome, and that is my favourite part about this whole thing, is the people that I've met, the people that have helped build a fucking community here. So when it comes to numbers, I don't really mind. Do you like YouTube Rewind? I do. Do you like any YouTubers? To be honest with you, I watch YouTube more than I watch TV or movies, so Jacksepticeye is my favourite YouTuber, and he has been for about 3 years now, I'd say. I just love that he's unapologetically himself. The people, like I go into the comment section in his videos and I see people going, you're so loud, you're so annoying, your hair is so green. But Jack just continues to be himself, or Sean, his name is Sean, just continues to be himself, and I love that. I love that he's like, no, I'm me. I love him. I think he's really funny. Love to meet him someday. He's actually part of the reason that I started my channel as well. Just because when it comes to things like that, when you're Irish, you feel like, well, I can't do that. No one from here ever really succeeds at things like that. But I was watching Jack for years and I was like, he did it. Do you like cake? I do. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be? Oh. 1, I hope that when I'm old, if I'm lucky enough to live to be an old woman, I hope that when I get older, that I can look back on my life and say that I lived. Like, there's a song by One Republic called I Lived, and I want to be able to listen to that song when I'm 80 or 90 and go, yes. I want to be able to say that I did everything. That everything that life had to offer me, I did it. And I want to have as little regrets as possible. Second wish is I want my family to just continue being happy and healthy. I mean, you guys know my family are my rock, and I love being around them, so I'd want for them to be happy at all times. And my third wish would be Probably just that I could continue making you guys laugh. Reading your comments and knowing that I made somebody smile or laugh or that something stupid I said stuck with someone. That really means a lot to me. So I wish I could just keep doing that. Which, you know, I'm planning on keeping doing it, so. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna fucking ruin this name. Herzen Skatchen 221B said, hang on, 221B? Is that a Sherlock reference? Is it? I think it is. We're gonna have to Google it. It is a Sherlock reference. See, I think I made up right there for, you know, totally butchering your name by getting that Sherlock reference though. I love Sherlock. Anyway, we're going off point again. Who is your favourite character from the Harry Potter universe? P.S. I love your videos. My favourite character has kind of changed as I've gotten older. I used to love the idea of Snape when I was younger and when I read The Deathly Hallows. Now I know there's a few people on my channel reading Harry Potter at the moment, so I don't want to ruin anything. So let's just say I loved Snape. Even when I read the ending, I loved Snape. But when I got older and I look back on it, he wasn't as great of a character as I thought he was, if you get what I mean. The whole thing between him and Lily, I used to think it was so romantic and so lovely. But when you get older, you kind of look at things through a different light. So my favourite character at the moment is probably Ron. Or Hermione. Hermione is my favourite character. I love Ron because he's stuck with Harry and he's really funny. He's such a lovely guy. He comes from a big family. But I love Hermione. Any book that has a strong female character that is independent, that is confident in herself, is just a yes from me. And growing up, reading a book that was, you know, in a magic world and everything, and having the girl be the smartest, having the girl be able to get them out of situations, that was fascinating to me. And because as well she was so relatable, you know, that she was just a regular girl, like she had wild curly hair. She wasn't like perfect with perfect hair and perfect looks, you know, and had all the boys following her. She was just a regular girl. So growing up, she was like a proper role model for me. And Emma Watson is just an incredible lady. Redneck Billy Abel said, if you could be on one episode of The Walking Dead, who would you want to be? A character who died or a walker? Do you mean like a character that has died? As in like, would I want to be Laurie or Beth or someone like that? Or go on the show and like get killed? I'd probably like to be a walker. Because I'd love to sit in the hair and makeup department and have them completely change how I look. Watch it happen, you know, step by step, and then get to follow someone around and try and bite them. Like if that was like Andy, like Rick, just going up to him, like try and bite him, and I'd be all, let me just get a hug there real quick. I'm a nice walker. Or if it was Norman, you need to attack Norman. I will do no such thing. He will get a hug and a little pat on the head, and I'll be on my way to go bite Dwight. Bubblegum Shock said, do you have any pets, and if so, could you please show them? Well, my dog is currently downstairs asleep, and I woke her up this morning and she was not fucking happy about that. So I'll insert a picture for you guys. Her name is Lily. She's my pride and joy. And she also asked, can I please get a shout out? Shout out to Bubblegum Shocks. Doris said, if you had to be stuck with 5 characters in The Walking Dead, who would you be? Ooh, if I had to be stuck with 5 characters? I get to pick? 1, Daryl, because I'd love to get to talk to him, the character now, not Norman. Daryl is the character. I'd love to get to talk to him and to get inside his head and to try and get him to open up. Because even though I am a quite shy person, I love people. I'm a people person. I love watching how people work. I love getting to know people, like properly getting to know them. Like asking the questions, you know, that really let you into someone's head. So I would love to sit down with Daryl and, you know, walk around his mind. Rick, because Rick gets shit done and I would just feel safe in the group that he was leading, but also because I'd be the one to be like, Rick, honey, sit down. You've got blood on your face. Carl has gone AWOL again, and also, Rick, you need a cup of tea. Michonne, because she is just so badass. I love her so much. I would love to be any group that she is in. I'd love to be part of it. So that's 3. Who else is there? I'd like Merle to be on my group. I know Merle's dead, but let's bring him back for a minute. Merle, even though he was a loose cannon and he was dangerous and he was just an all-round bit of an asshole, I think Merle would be somebody that you could benefit from having as part of your team. Especially because of Daryl. If you had them together, you got 2 brothers that love each other and value each other and they would do anything for each other. And if they're part of a group, you'd have 2 of them protecting the group. That's 3. Rick, that's 4. Counting skills are not too good. and Negan. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, what? Now, let's just take away the Walking Dead universe and just take the characters. I would love to have Negan on my group. If Negan hadn't had his Negan story yet, if Negan was just a regular guy, I'd love to have him on my group because he's so charismatic, he's so charming, he's such a character that I think having somebody that can sweet talk people and persuade people and have power over people, I think having someone like him on your group would benefit the entire group. Plus Jeffrey Dean Morgan, hello. Ike said, oh, thank you for the Doris. Thank you for the Doris question, by the way. Thank you, Doris, for the question. Ike said, more vlogs, yes please. You guys want to see vlogs? That's interesting. Brandon said, Katie, if you were to play a character in The Walking Dead from the comic, the show or the game series, who would you play? I'd probably be Coral, Rick's son, because you'd grow up in this world, you'd be able to adapt quicker to this world because you're not mentally fully properly matured, so growing up in this world would be easier than being thrown into this world as an adult. Plus you'd have Rick as a dad, so your life would be pretty much sorted, he'd look after you. MGS Ryder said, do you have any Walking Dead cosplay clothing items or weapons, and if so, can you show? If not, what would you get? I don't. I have a lot of clothes. I have a lot of Walking Dead clothes. And I do have Walking Dead items, like I have this little guy. Oh god, he's dusty. I got this little guy. And he's one of my favourite, like the back, he's the wings and everything. And he's a bobblehead. I love him a lot. I think it's really cool. I have a pop figure collection. I have a load of posters. And I have the autographs as well from Walker Stalker behind me. So I might just insert pictures of all that stuff because like it'll just take too long to get up and find everything. But one thing I would love to own is probably Lucille. I'd love a replica of Lucille. Roar Infinity. Didn't have a question, but they said that they were sorry about the Outcast reaction. I know, I'm sorry about that too. James said, Q&A question, it's not confirmed yet that Brad Pitt is working on World War Z 2. Would you be interested, would you be ready to see it if it gets released? Yes! This is brand new fucking information. They're making a World War Z 2? I die! I loved World War Z 1. Like, I loved it. They were the scariest motherfucking zombies I've ever seen. When they climbed that fucking wall by climbing in each other, oh! Yeah, I'd be well interested in seeing that. Okay. Swearing Ape, your question made me fucking laugh out loud. Swearing Ape asked, boyfriend, husband or friend zone? Norman Reedus, Daniel Radcliffe or the One Direction dude that looks like Ralphie Parker from A Christmas Story, Niall Horan. So I have to boyfriend, husband and friend zone them. Okay. Well, I'd friend zone Daniel Radcliffe because I've seen interviews of him, so many interviews of him, and he looks like such a laugh. He looks like such a funny guy. I'd probably friend zone him. I'm not interested in him that way, like. Now, the question is, do I husband Norman or Niall? I'd probably husband Niall. Not because I like him. Wow, what a great reason to husband someone. No, but like, I don't like Niall that way. I was never like attracted to Niall Horan, but Niall is Irish and he's a really funny sense of humour, and again I've seen lots of interviews with him and he seems like such a genuine guy and he seems like somebody that you would have so much fun with. So I think I'd probably husband him, and plus he lives in Ireland so it'd be easy to husband him. But I'd probably boyfriend Norman. Norman, you know, would be the badass that would pull up on the bike with the leather jacket and just make your head spin on your shoulders. So thank you for that question. Genuinely had me thinking. I don't know though, I like Norman a lot. What I know of him, what he allows people to see, I like it. He's really passionate about bikes and about the show and about his line of work, and he's really funny, but he's really sweet as well, so I don't know. Can I just husband the two of them and just keep them separate from each other? And question 2, do you think you might consider reading any Walking Dead comics or TPBs and do reviews on them? Or even use Storytime Saturday to read The Walking Dead novel chapter by chapter like audiobooks. You'd make a great narrator for audiobooks. I'd listen to you read the ingredients on a bag of crisps. I don't know. I hate my voice. There's a piece of information for you guys that you didn't know. I hate my voice. Not my accent, just my voice. I think I have a very annoying voice. So, it's really interesting that you want to see that though. That you want to see me just reading a book. Thank you for your question. MJS Ryder suggested that I watch Death Note. Now I have heard of Death Note. That is all over the internet and I do know what it is. Haven't watched it yet. Might consider it. Ali said, do you like reading? If you do, what's your favourite book and what's your favourite film and genre? Love you. I love you too. I love reading so much. Oh my god. Asking me to pick a favourite book is like Sophie's fucking choice. I don't know. Okay. Well, I love the Harry Potter books and I love The Hobbit. So The Hobbit would probably be tied with Harry Potter. But I also love Danielle Steele. She kind of writes like romance novels. She has a book called The Ring. Now, not the horror movie The Ring. That's what I thought it was when I started reading it. My mom suggested that I read this book because it's one of my mom's favourite books. And I was like, I don't know, another fucking romance book? I don't want to read that. But the storyline is so good and so well thought out. And this book actually made me cry. I cried reading it. So The Ring would probably be up there. And I'm sorry I keep looking over here, but my bookshelf is over there. I mean, there's so many books that I've read that I loved. Like, I loved The Revolution by Russell Brand. It wasn't really a novel, but it was really interesting. As for what kind of genres do I love horror. Anything horror. I like your kind of typical jump scare horror. I like kind of psychological thrillers. I love anything dark like that. My all-time favourite film is The Boondock Saints. Now, I know that's not a horror movie, but Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery are in it, and they're both my two favourite actors ever. The two boys in The Boondock Saints are supposed to be Irish. Their Irish accents were questionable at times, I'm not going to lie. You know, I mean, if you're not from Ireland, you mightn't be able to tell that their accents kind of cut in and out in places. But when you are Irish, you're like... But the second Boondock Saints had Billy Connolly in it, and Billy Connolly, as I've mentioned before, is probably my all-time favourite comedian. So, The Boondock Saints is just the best movie ever, in my opinion. So I'm going to end it there, you guys, because this is going to have to be a two-part video. There was a lot more questions than I thought there was going to be. But this is just the end to part 1 of the video, so if I didn't answer your question, I'll answer it in part 2. I will film part 2 right now, and I'll edit it, and I'll probably have part 2 up maybe tomorrow or the day after. Thank you all so much for sending in your questions. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you all soon.